Let me move my cursor out of the way. That'd be good.
Oh, my cat's being an asshole.
Okay, there we go. Okay, we're here. We're here. Okay, so we got
We're here.
Char, EmptyEye. How y'all doing? How's everyone doing today? You ready?
How y'all doing? Oh, there's Echo. How's everyone doing today?
Yeah,
You ready?
I'm good except for the echo.
Except for the echo.
Looks like the echo is coming through on your audio, Shard.
Looks like the echo is coming through on your audio. And what, dude?
Yeah, I don't know why.
It was working before.
Let's see. I'm gonna bump you up a little too, Char. It doesn't seem like there's. I guess as long as we don't yell, maybe there won't be echo. I don't know.
As long as we don't yell.
I mean, how do we not get excited about Wizardry though?
This echo. How do we not get excited about Wizardry?
I mean, I love Wizardry, so.
I love Wizardry. Oh, I know why it's echoing. It's because I have the stream volume up.
Oh, fair.
That would do it. That would do it.
So I'll mute the stream audio, and then that should stop the echo.
Okay.
Stop chewing the wires, Cat.
Cat's also excited about Wizardry.
The cat is excited to be an asshole.
Typical cat.
Yeah, that's just being a cat.
True.
Cat is actually, fingers crossed, actually behaving well. He is hiding behind a bin near my partner's desk. So.
All right, so let's.
Okay.
Let's Wizardry.
Yeah. So Wizardry. Yeah. So what is like?
So, Wizardry.
What is the goal? What's going on? Talk super quick about like the code that we're using, the Game Genie code, and then like feel free to just talk about whatever you want to talk about, and I'll just be here in the background. So.
All right. So the code that we're using for this particular goal, well, first let's talk about the goal. The goal is to beat the game, which, if you've ever played Wizardry casually, is incredibly intimidating. Luckily, as I like to say, with this goal, yes, you're playing through Wizardry and you're beating the game, but you're not really playing Wizardry. What we've done is activated a Game Genie code, and that Game Genie code, the short version of which is it gives you a ton of experience and gold. You fight one battle and you have millions upon millions of experience and gold. It's actually not millions, it is in fact billions of each. So
more than you'd ever need.
Yep. So you take you fight one battle, you level up a bunch, you go right to the end game, and you defeat the final boss, and you make it back, and you win the game. So the goal of the game is to return to the surface with what I've always called all these years the Amulet of Wordna, but it is technically in the game. It is technically Wordna's amulet, which is kind of interesting to me. A little piece of trivia there for you, but in any event, that's kind of the goal. And I guess we should just maybe kind of get right into this. And as we go through, as I come across some of the things that I feel like have been tripping people up, I might stop and point them out. So. All right, so I am going to, I guess, go ahead and get started here. Or not. There we go. There it is. So let me see. I think I have to, yes, okay. The first thing I have to do is I have to reset the whole state of the game. And if you don't know how to do that, I am going to also do this. I am going to pop the chat out and minimize the stream on my end, because I can see it kind of flashing out of the corner of my eye, and it's incredibly distracting. So, but yes, you're listening to EmptyEye and ShesChardcore on WBNS Radio, taking your calls about Wizardry until 5 p.m.
Until like 3 p.m.
Well, 3 p.m. for you. Yeah. All right. All right. So if you've never done this before, or if you have even, the first thing you do is you have to kind of reset the game, reset the save file. And to do that, you just delete all your characters. Like this. Why am I? Okay, that's why. I'm going to also minimize my OBS instance on my side because that's also flashing on my, this out of the corner of my eye, and it's incredibly distracting. Okay. So delete all the characters, and then you delete one more time, and the game asks you, you want to reset the data. Also, Shard, I apologize. I have not actually watched your tutorial on this, so I'm probably going over a bunch of stuff that you and other people already know, but
That's right. I didn't watch it either.
fair. Okay, let me get my cursor out of the way too. So, reset the data, press reset switch. I'm going to use my completely legal NES and hit reset.
That was long.
And
Sorry.
oh, that's all right. And once you do that, you actually, I don't know why, but this is apparently true, and it's too bad because I like the music and sound in this game. But once you have reset everything, you want to go and you want to turn the music and the sound off because apparently it, I don't know, reduces lag, makes things faster.
It's,
I don't know. I've
it
honestly
saves
never done it
1.2
before.
seconds per encounter because it doesn't play
Wow.
the encounter jingle.
Doesn't play the encounter. That was kind of what I figured. Yeah. Okay. So it makes encounters pop up faster, which is good.
Theoretically, you're not going to have more than 3 encounters or 4 encounters in the run, so it's not a
Right.
huge savings, but it adds up.
Yep. All right. So you start the game, and you have your roster of characters here. The game provides you 2 fighters, 2 mages, a cleric, and a thief. There are a couple different approaches you can take here. The cleric and the thief. Well, actually, let me take a step back. The thief is useless in this goal. The thief's main function is to disarm trapped chests in the dungeon to get you treasure, to get you gold. You need none of that in this goal because you have a ton of gold and a ton of experience, and the experience is more than enough to compensate for the lack of gear. Char, do you want to call? Do you want to talk a little bit about the cleric and why they may or may not be useless?
They're probably mostly useless, but um, I wasn't prepared to talk about this, but we'll do it anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
So the cleric is a healer. They have heal spells, they have anti-poison spells, a typical cleric, typical RPG healer archetype. But for some reason they don't have a group heal in this game. All their healing is single target, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. But they do get a couple spells that are useful potentially. I'm kind of in the dungeon, so to speak, trying to see if we can use the cleric's instant kill spell in lieu of one of the mage's instant kill spells. So we're looking at cleric mage as a potential party comp. I still think 2 mages is going to be superior. But the thief is useless completely. Everybody can agree on that.
Yep, that was as I was poking around as we were trying to see if we could get the Game Genie code working, and I was independently kind of poking around to see if I could just basically hack the ROM directly and replicate that functionality. As I was sort of going through this goal, I was like, "Oh yeah, why you don't need the cleric or the thief."
No, Tristel, it doesn't. There's
It
a
does not.
ROM hack of the to fix the AC bug, but it wasn't included in this ROM.
Yep. So for people wondering what Tristal and Shard are talking about, you see I have this AC column here that is armor class. In theory, lower is better. In practice, for you, it does nothing. One thing I want to point out, enemy armor class works just fine. Yours is the one that's broken.
Yeah, basically what happens is the enemy attacks you, and rolls their own AC as for the hit check. Instead of rolling your AC of 4, they could roll their whole AC is like 7 or 12 or whatever.
Yep. So
And
as kind of a side effect, the start of the game is actually probably more dangerous than it needs to be. So I'm going to get
the
into an
entire game
encounter
is
here. Yep. Bubbly slimes. Oh, I can just fight these. These are bubbly slimes, so that's fine. If you get not bubbly slimes and you want to maybe raise your odds of survival, instead of, you can try casting this Catino spell, which is a sleep spell. Bubbly slimes are easy enough. I should be able to just fight these. I'm not going to worry about it. But if you fight, if you get anything that's like small humanoids or orcs, essentially anything that's not slimes, you may want to look into this. I mean, I could do it here too, because this mage in the 4th slot is otherwise just not going to be doing anything anyway. So, and since we're going to rest at the inn after a victory, I might as well. So,
I didn't catch it before you left. Did you buy the Blades of Biting?
I
Or
did.
did you do that
Yes.
later? You did, okay. I'm kind of just like echoing your movements on my side for the hell of it.
Oh, okay. Yep. So this is what the Game Genie code we put in does. This is the other effect. Instead of getting, I think it would have been, no, it wouldn't have been because we have 4 characters instead of 6. I would have gotten some pathetically small number of experience points, probably about 40 each if I had to guess. And instead, I get 249 billion for each survivor. So that's cool. And then this is where, if we were playing more casually, I could have the thief try to inspect. You can actually have any of your characters try to inspect and disarm the trap. But that's a sucker play if you're doing it with anyone but a thief. So we're just going to leave this alone. We don't need that. By the way, the quickest place to quickly get into a battle is, here's where you would start. You turn right. You basically just keep going until you hit this door. And then you basically should just about always get an encounter behind that door. Yeah, you're not going to find it because the shop at the start, as you probably saw on Shard's side, sells 2 Blades of Biting, and the Blades of Biting give you basically an extra attack per turn. So if you're going with, there's a few different kind of party compositions you could theoretically use here, but I like the 2 fighter, 2 mage one.
Yeah, the
And
Blade of Biting is basically a short sword +2. And the +2 is 2 extra swings. Everything in this game is basically D&D based. There's a lot of dice rolls.
Yep.
Like the Blade of Biting, you get the +2 swings, and it's 1d6, I believe. And there's a strength modifier on top of that based on your character's strength.
Yep. Yeah. So interesting note, not super relevant to this goal, but stats do very little in this game unless they are very low or very high. Your maximum in a stat is 18, and unless it is either 5 or below or 16 or above, the stat will do nothing, and that's every stat in the game. Modifiers only kick in at 16 or above, or 5 and below. So okay, I fought a battle. I have a bunch of experience. I'm now going to go gain a bunch of levels.
One thing I've noticed is, in a couple of streams, I noticed people thinking that the more expensive places to stay in the end seem to like give you more health or more max HP. It's not actually true. All 5 of these give you the same chance of level up or stat ups and learning spells and whatnot. The cost is a healing. So if you'll notice, my mage is kind of injured. If we didn't have a cleric, well, we don't have a cleric, but whatever. You can sleep in one of these rooms and heal your HP that way. It's just not,
And
once we leave town the second time, we're not coming back without the amulet, so it's like, it's not a big deal if you're missing a couple HP. Because you're going to get levels.
Right. And I'm intentionally doing this kind of slow. In the big 20 in the race, you'll want to just mash through these levels as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But what I'm kind of trying to demonstrate here, and this is again sort of outside the scope of this goal. I've noticed people playing this casually will try and save scum for big hit point regeneration. Ow, that was a terrible level. That is actually not what you want to do. And stuff like what you just saw here is why. Just trust me when I say it all averages out in the end. If it looks like you've gotten a couple terrible level ups, don't worry as far as hit points go. Just don't worry. A really good one is coming, I promise. May not be immediate, but essentially it has to do with how the game rolls your hit points upon leveling up. It doesn't just roll for that level, it actually re-rolls your entire pool and compares your old to your new. And if the new is more than the old, it's like, cool, that's just your new hit point total. If the new is not greater than the old, the game takes pity on you and gives you a 1 HP pity level up. So basically what you'll see is like 1 hit point, 1 hit point, 1 hit point, and then something like this. 51 hit points. And then, 1, 4, 2, 37. So I've actually probably slightly over-leveled this fighter, but that's okay. I'll just briefly match through this here.
I would argue that there's no over-leveling in this game.
You are not wrong. Actually, as I was doing this goal, I think I was actually getting my fighters up to like 300 hit points. So
And for anybody that just wants to get through the goal to just put it behind them, over-level a little bit, especially the fighters. Every 5 levels, the fighters gain an additional swing on top of the swings that the sword gives. So if you rock like a level 20 fighter with the Blade of Biting, you get 6 swings. And all those swings roll independently of each other, so it's not like all hit or all miss. And you can hit 5 times, you hit 6 times, you hit 3 times. And it creates a good bit of sustained damage on word when we get there.
yep, that is the main
But
kind of.
MTI mentioned different party comps that are potential to beat the game. The 2 fighter, 2 mage that we're both displaying right now, I think is probably the coziest strat. So you can you have your fighters in the front. They'll take the brunt of the melee combat. You can also just reset if anything bad happens and you save scum and it's fine. The best cleric in the game is the reset button.
Yes. The people earlier in the chat were mentioning the strategy guide, and the strategy guide actually, I'm not kidding, it advocates one of the first like super tips at the end is like the miraculous reset button. So they knew what they were doing.
I'll show that off while you're leveling up.
Okay.
So I just come to this door and fight
here.
this encounter.
26.
Oh, it's 2 slimes. Oh no.
26, 30, 35, and
The slime hit the mage for 1 damage.
38.
You hit reset? No, he didn't. You go start game, you go back to edge of town, restart an out party, and there's all your folks outside of that encounter. It's like nothing ever happened.
Yep.
So
my mages are
somebody
actually
that,
higher
like,
level
gets
than the
poisoned or
fighters.
paralyzed or deaded or whatever, like as long as you reset quick enough, it doesn't actually happen, which is interesting.
Yep.
It's a great safety, like over level and over reset.
Yep.
And you should not lose much progress at all that way.
Yep. So, I'm sorry, I don't know if you mentioned this, but every if you're in the dungeon and you press B, you go to this camp screen, and the game effectively will save your state right there, wherever you hit.
It's like a quick save.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now that
so that
I've
when
got
you
all
do
my
reset
levels,
it brings you back to that point.
the caveat to that is whatever you are trying to reset from cannot have completely resolved. So if essentially if you get into a battle and the battle goes poorly, you can reset at any point until basically you see the tombstone screen. Then you're too late. So I'm going to do this a little differently than we advocate in the speed run. I'm going to actually do this. I'm just going to go right down to floor 10. Yes, that should be it. Okay, so I Malord directly. Okay, so this is the start of floor 10. You will likely never see this message because of the way you would do this in the speed run, but I'm going from the start here to kind of show something. And it's not this message except for the very end of it. So Contradextra Avenue is basically a clue meaning don't go right. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through this. So, Wordna's like, Mwahaha, I'm the evil Wordna. If I go right here, I will teleport right back to the castle. Which is useful casually. It is not useful in this goal. So this is floor 10. And floor 10 is essentially a series of one-way passages. So, okay, an encounter. Wait, no, I'm going to run from this. I don't know which giants those are is the problem. 6 clerics, sure. We'll take that. Basically, anything that might be, like, vaguely human. I'm just going to double tilt-o-wait. Should kill all of them. There we go. Cool. Don't need the chest. So, if I look here, do we have the map to level 10 in chat at all? Let me go find that. Do. Say Wizardry 1 maps. That's fine.
I'm gonna go AFK for like a minute or two. Be right back.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pop this here. I have no idea if this is going to go through or if I'm just going to get obliterated from chat. Okay, well, I've not been auto-obliterated from chat. That's good. So, this is floor 10, and yes, it might say this is for the PC version, but the PC version and the NES version have the same floor 10. And so you start, if you do what I did here, and you just kind of take the long way down, you will start at the bottom left corner of floor 10. And so I'm making mouse motions, like you can see what I'm doing on my computer. You cannot. But essentially, if you look at that map, you start in the bottom left corner, so you'll go north and through the door to those swords, which are an encounter. And so I'm currently standing on 1 east, 8 north, and I'll face north here. You can see there's just a big open room. There's nothing there to my north. And so this is what I think was actually confusing a lot of people. I'm going to turn to, so if you look at this map, is there a key on this map? There is not. Okay. So I am in what is, in theory, a 3x3 open room. So if I turn to the left, there's a wall, 1 square over there. I'm going to turn back to the north. And if I turn to my east, I should, in theory, see another wall. What is this? Why is there no wall in front of me? This is what I think is throwing a lot of people off about this goal and about the navigation in this. So, essentially, if you're looking at something and you're comparing it to the map, and what you're seeing makes no sense at all compared to the map, what you are looking at is you are looking into a teleporter, and you are looking into what is at the teleporter destination. So if I take a step to the right here, I will end up back at 0, 0. I will end up back where I started. And I will be teleported back. And let's see. I'm facing north now, facing west. Instead, if you look at the map, I'm going to head toward the kind of upper left corner of this room. I'm going to go up. An encounter. Cool. No. You're absolutely not messing with that. And you can see similar. This looks kind of like what should be there, but there's also. I go in the center here. You'll notice. Go back to the side. I'm now kind of against the left wall, and you can see one north and one east. Looks like there's something there, but there actually isn't. So if I click this, if I take a step forward, try that again. Another way to notice you have been teleported is if you were paying close attention, you may have noticed there was a very quick double flash when I took that step forward. Normally, if I just move, if I turn, the game flashes. It flashes once. If you walk into a teleporter, it'll actually do a very quick double flash. It'll flash twice, and that's your other kind of clue that you've been teleported. So these yellow squares on the floor, or I guess orange. I'd call that orange, I guess, before I'd call it yellow. But either way, those squares are just kind of important squares, message squares. They're not necessarily teleporters. This one is just Wordna, again, hyping up the Guardians. And so I'm just going to go through this floor here. Really? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to cast. All right. So Tilt-O-Wait is your giant damage spell. Maldalto is a slightly less big damage spell, but two of those should work here. Ninjas killed. Yeah, okay. Master ninjas do not actually have a whole lot of hit points, which is kind of nice. I got 142 gold out of that. All right, so I'm going to go into camp to kind of save scum here. And go into the encounter. 3 giants. No. 1 Gorgon. It's 1, and I'm pretty well leveled. This should be fine. Yeah, okay. Alone. So I am now. Where am I? Okay. So this second teleporter is kind of the annoying one to find, because if I go directly to the right here, I will go back to the start, but I have to instead go. I have to take a step forward and then go right in this room. I know I went left, but okay. That time it actually didn't double flash. That's weird. Well, all right. Correction. It will usually double flash. Oh, something else is that you can hit A or directional forward to go forward. So you can actually motor along pretty quickly if you can get a good rhythm going with both. Okay. Present monsters. Cool. What do we got? Cannon robes and a cleric. Okay. I'm just gonna parry and then parry. When you surprise monsters, you cannot cast spells for the first round of combat, which is another actually compelling reason to take the fighters to see if they can at least swipe at a couple things and knock them down for round 2.
And the same holds true in reverse. If the enemy surprises you, they can't do spells in their first round either.
Correct.
It's one of the
However,
unfair
if they have
things
special attacks such as breath, they can do that, which is it's not ideal.
Poison giants will wreck you.
Yep. All right, so this is actually an excellent example of what I was talking about earlier. So if you look at the map that I linked in chat, I am currently standing at 10 east, 18 north. So I should see a wall in front of me. I do not. I see an open hallway. Why? Because I'm looking at the teleporter that's going to take me to the next part of the dungeon. If I go there, see, no, that looks fine. And well, that's the teleport. Don't go that way. But if I go straight ahead here, and you saw the double flash, and I've now been teleported to the next part of the dungeon. Oh, hi, Mario. Speaking of cats and being butts, my cat has decided to join the party.
What class is he?
Sorry, I don't have a webcam up. We're not paying a cat tax today. Sorry to say. Okay, so get out of there, cursor. Okay, so let's continue here. Counter. Monster surprised you. Will-o-wisps. Okay. The main thing about will-o-wisps are that they are very difficult to hit. They actually have the lowest armor class in the game, even lower than Wordna. But we're ludicrously over-leveled, so it's fine.
And as you saw, the fighters were hitting like 7 swings for 70 damage. That's gonna wipe out anything, basically.
Yeah, so here is another example. I'm facing what should be the center of an open room, but I see walls here, because again, I'm about to be teleported if I go that way. Oop. I don't know what causes the double flash, honestly. I thought it was just when you got teleported, but that seems to not be the case. Yes, correct. We will, as I get closer to Wordna, we will discuss armor class manipulation. Okay, one moment, everybody. Yes, Luna has been to a number of my streams. They know what's up. 3 giants, 1 unseen entity. Okay.
So those are poison giants with a will-o-wisp.
Yep. Yep. I was gonna say from my numerous times playing this game, I can actually tell you that yeah, these are poison giants. And so I'm going to use the spell of Makanito. This is not necessarily something you need to know. If honestly, if you're not totally sure, or if you see something that's not like obviously human, probably better off just running and trying to get another easier encounter. But because I do know what these are, I'm going to use Makanito because Makanito is a spell that will basically kill quote unquote weak enemies or enemies that the game considers weak. And for whatever reason, poison giants are considered weak enemies as far as Makanito goes. So
Poison giants are level 1 technically. Their
okay.
HP is 1d50, and Makanito kills anything under 8 hit dice. So
Okay.
if they have 1 hit die, then they
Yep.
just get wrecked.
Okay, so it's hit. Okay, so it's their hit. I see. Okay, their hit dice. Cool. All right. And you can see poison giants hurt if you're not ready. If you're not ready for them, or even if you are. There's the double flash
I would say
again.
no,
So,
Blunt Bunny. It's not better.
yeah. That's a lot of level 8 wizards that I don't feel like dealing with. Thieves, best case scenario. Thieves are basically what you want to see in this as you move toward There we go. There's a double flash. I think this is the last hallway. Yep. Screen sign on the wall reads, "Lair of the Evil Wizard. Word nah." Office hours 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. By appointment only. The wizard is in. Another fun little note, if you come here with a party that has already beaten the game, the sign instead says the wizard is out, and you don't actually fight Wordna, you just fight his henchmen. If I go through the door, let's see what happens here. Okay. So that's a Wordna. And Wordna will always be accompanied by a vampire lord and some quantity of vampires, anywhere from 1 in the best case scenario to, I guess, 8 in the absolute worst case scenario. There's a I won't get into super deep mechanics of how it determines that, but suffice to say, you'll always fight Wordna, the vampire lord, and some quantity of vampires, anywhere from 1 to 8. Wordna is very difficult to hit, so there are a few different ways you can kind of try to handle this fight. I'm gonna start by doing something like this. I'm gonna basically try and take out all of the henchmen if I can, essentially. Smack Wordna a few times and have the other 2 mages tilt-a-wait and just kind of hope it hits. Not expecting it. I'm not expecting either of them to hit Wordna, though if it does, that's great. We're basically hoping to take out the henchman here. Page 1, Cassie tilt-a-wait. Okay. What do we got? Oh, Wordna takes 81 damage. Nice. Okay. Vampire Lord takes 81 damage. Vampire is killed. Okay, that was a terrible tilt-a-wait. That is close to minimum damage on that tilt-a-wait. So. And Vampire resists the spell. This is why we cast 2 of them. 3 times for 19 damage. Cool. H2 cast a tilt-a-wait. Yep, Wordna resists. That's entirely expected. Vampire Lord is killed. Nice. Vampire is killed. Vampire is killed. Okay, so we're down to Wordna. This is why we ludicrously overlevel. Well, it's one reason we ludicrously overlevel. Wordna is one of 2 enemies in the game that can cast tilt-a-wait. I believe a Malefic is the other one. So this is just gonna hurt, and I just have to sit there and take it.
Luckily, you have the HP to do that.
Yep, Mage 2 takes 116 damage. If you're curious about what tilt-a-wait can do anywhere from, it's either 15 to 150 or 10 to 150 damage. I can't remember if the dice 15. Are 10d. Wait, what is it? Sorry.
I think it's 15.
Yeah, I think it is too. Yeah. I think it's 15d10 is the dice. I couldn't remember if it was 15d10 or 10d15, but I think you're right. So basically 150 or even like 200 is probably where I'd go with HP if I want to just be able to survive this and not have to constantly reset. But we did all survive. So again, we have there's a few different options here. How do I want to do this? Let me think about this for a sec.
When you're done with this, I'm going to show off the 2 mage strat. So,
okay. All right. So in that case, I will take full advantage of my fighters then. I will fight, and I'm going to cast the spell of Moreless with the 2 mages. So someone kind of alluded to this earlier. I mentioned that basically enemy armor class works fine. You may have also noticed that Wordna is resistant to spells. In fact, he's quite resistant to spells. But Moreless and Ma Moreless are huge in this instance because they basically manipulate enemy armor class. The short version is it makes them easier to hit. And the big thing about armor class manipulation spells in this is they will always work. They do not care about resistances. So that's actually pretty huge. So that's going to make Wordna easier to hit here. As it happens, we're actually doing pretty well hitting him anyway, but... Okay, so that was bad timing, unfortunately. Both my fighters attacked before the mages could cast the Morelesses, but that's fine. Or no, throw in another tilt-o-wait. That mage is probably dead. Yep. Okay, that's fine. So with 2 Morlises out, honestly, could probably just chuck another tilt-o-wait or try Lacanito. Go tilt-o-wait. Fine. All right, so that's 43. There we go. Warden is killed. Great. Age 1 found amulet. All right, cool. So we won. We have the amulet. Now we have to get out of here, and there's a few different ways we can do that. We can either cast Malor, or we can use the amulet, which casts Malor.
It's handy in
And
case all of your mages die, you can still get out with somebody else. So just having them use the amulet.
yep, because the Wordner's Chamber does not have the teleport back to the start of the floor, and then in turn going back to the castle. You're just stuck here if you can't teleport out. So I am going to actually roll a dice and see what happens here. I'm just going to go up 10. That's one note. Okay, we survived. One of the characters died, if you looked quickly, but we survived, and we got the congratulations screen, and we have completed the goal. It is possible for all of your characters to drown in the moat, and if that happens, you have not yet won. You have to. There's a kind of a backup you have to do. So I'm going to very briefly just reset everything, and I can kind of show what to do in that instance. So, Guard, while you want to do the 2 mage strat, I will start deleting characters here.
I didn't catch that.
So I oh, that's not what I want to do. Create this character? No. So I did the just risky go up 10 and survived falling in the moat. So you mentioned you were gonna do like the 2 mage, the double mage strat with no fighters. And so while you're doing that, I'm gonna kind of go through this again and sort of again show how to either mitigate the moat so that you just don't have to deal with it at all, or if you try it and you get unlucky and everyone drowns in the moat, how you recover from that. So.
Alright, so I'm going to do the 2 mage strat, as EmptyEye was referring to. You just have 2 mages. And I'm going to do the combat teleport. EmptyEye went right to the beginning of the 10th floor for navigational purposes, but I'll show off the teleport route. So from the town square, the square that the town is on, there's not like a town square. From this square, 0, on floor 1, you want to cast Malor, go 8 east, 8 down. Brings you to a door. Quick save, go through the door, and you want to cast Malor during combat. And what this will do is essentially, if the spell works, it has a chance to fail, which is like 120% chance to fail. Maybe you really want it to, or you want it to work. So cast Malor with each mage. As long as one of them goes off, you're in good shape. Alright. The teleports you to a random tile on floor 10. So we have to figure out where we are. And where we are is right outside Wordness Chamber. Or actually, we're in Wordness Chamber. This would be incredible in a run. So it's, of course, as I'm showing it off here, I get it. I've done maybe 100 attempts today, and I didn't get that more than once. So this is if you get really lucky. Let's try and kill Wordna with 2 mages and no fighters. We got Wordna, and as EmptyEye showed, there's the Vampire Lord and the vampires. It's the unseen entities. They're always going to be there. I'm gonna open up with double tilt-away to wipe out hopefully all of the ads and leave Ordna by himself. We're gonna cast a tilt-away. We have enough health to tank it. We don't have enough health to tank anything else. So now that the ads are taken care of, you'll notice I don't have any fighters. We're doing the double mage strat. So there's a spell called Lacanito. It's a level 6 spell. And the number to the parentheses versus magic spell level 6, 9. That means you have 9 casts of spells from this level. So you can cast Lacanito 9 times in total with each mage. But we're not going to have. Somebody's going to die, whether it's us or Wordna. So Lacanito is an instant kill spell. Wordna can resist it. His resist, I think, is 70% in general. And then the spell has to then roll to see if it actually hits. So it's a little bit riskier, but instead of. Alright, so we're going to cast a Medalto. That would kill us. So I'm going to reset. Restart an out party. And try the fight again. Save scumming as your friend. Do the same thing, I'll open up double tilt-aways. Oh, actually hit word, and that's pretty good. Oh, so mage 1 got hit by one of the vampires for 3 damage and got paralyzed and drained 4 levels. The paralysis is a bit of a problem. I'm going to play it safe and just reset. Restart an out party. Wizard is in. Monster surprised you. I'm going to reset just instinctively. I'm chickening out of
Meanwhile,
anything
I
that
got
looks
terrible
bad.
luck on my Malar.
Oof. There's a lot of bad things here. Let's see if we can wipe them out for the hell of it. Kill. We're gonna cast Deltoid. Anyway, we killed all the ads again, which is nice. So we're just gonna spam Lacanito until it works. Wordness smothered. We got it.
Nice.
That means he's dead. We got his amulet. We can get out of here now. Now, whereas EmptyEye showed off just going up 10 floors and drowning, the intended way to get back to town, and I recommend doing this, is 17 west, 3 south, 10 up. This will bring you right to town, right to the game-winning screen. And there you go. So the double mage strat is a little bit faster because you don't have to cast Moreless and like power up your fighters, and the fewer characters you level up, the faster your run's going to be. Just by nature of not having a level fighters to 20 or whatever level. So if you can cut out levels and characters, that's another reason why I don't recommend the cleric. Like he's got a potential utility, but the potential's not good enough for him to suck 30 seconds to a minute of your time leveling him. So yeah, that's an example of everything went right. I got a good teleport really close to word. I only took a few tries to get him down with the Lacanito. That probably won't happen on race day for you folks. It's pretty good RNG. If you get it, great. Get it and run. My PB in this category is 204. Are there any questions in chat so far? We pretty smooth on what's going on here. No question is too simple or too complex.
If anyone is curious, the difference between Morlus and Ma Morlus is Morlus hits a group of enemies, and Morlus hits, Morlus hits a group of enemies, and Ma Morlus hits everything in the battle, all groups of enemies. But since I typically only use it when I'm down to just Wordna, I just use it's fine.
Why is Wizardry like this? The answer is Endo.
Eh.
Executive producer Masanobu Endo broke the game. I mean, we've never forgiven him for it. Bad Breaks has a question.
I am not wearing a cape, Bad Breaks. I'm sorry.
Let me look at the map that EmptyEye linked. There's a couple different versions of the map floating around with different
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah. So presuming you are talking about the map I linked earlier in the chat, yes, those will bring you back to the bottom left corner of the floor, basically the start of the floor. Yep.
Yeah.
Which, for the purposes of this goal, you want to avoid. Okay, so
And I
we
think
defeated
that's
Wordna
the
again.
big.
So
Sorry, I think that's the big
let's-
challenge has been people not knowing that they're hitting those teleporters that bring you backwards. So when they think they're trying to move forwards, they're just kind of going in circles. But that
Yeah.
map actually does a better job than the map I've linked in the Discord because it's avoid the zeros.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I also noticed a lot of I'm like trying to get my bearings on the map, and what I see makes no sense. I can't figure it out, and that
Right.
again is due to the how teleporters work in this game, or how looking at teleporters works in this game. Not relevant to this goal, but interesting note: in the original Apple II versions, you basically get no feedback whatsoever that you've been teleported. You don't get the preview, and you don't get the double flash. You just are mapping, and all of a sudden what you're mapping makes no sense, or you crash into something that you've already mapped and you're like, what happened here? So that's fun. Okay, so since we have a little bit of time, I'm going to show what happens if you gamble on the floor 10 moat and it goes badly wrong, or you otherwise botch your teleport back to town. So I'm going to use the amulet, and instead of going up 10, which will take me into the moat, and which I may or may not survive, I'm going to go up one more. I'm going to go up 11. What is above the city, you ask? Much like an old episode of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends, we are going to step out onto the balcony porch. The only problem is there is no balcony porch. So we fell to the ground. We're all dead. And we get this tombstone screen, which means we have not won yet. We have not seen the congratulations screen. So, how do I recover from this, you ask? Well, number one, I would actually recommend doing what Shard said, doing the 17-3-10 teleport back, and just losing the second or two it takes to input 17-3-10 versus going up 10. But if you do come across this, you can recover from this. I'm going to go here, and it was Fighter 1 who had the amulet. I'm going to take them, and I'm going to take one of our formerly useless characters who are still alive. We'll take Thief 1. So we have Fighter 1 who has 232 out of dead hit points. But if I inspect, you'll notice he still has the amulet. He or she, I guess. Gender is not actually a thing when creating characters in Wizardry. So there you go.
Yeah, they introduced genders in the Wizardry guidance series.
Interesting. I believe the Elmanage series, which is essentially Wizardry in everything but name, also has genders. But anyway. Yes, Bovinity kind of has the right idea here. So essentially, the winning condition is making it back to the surface with the amulet and at least one character alive. Our fighter tragically crashed to the ground because there was no balcony porch, but still has the amulet. and our thief is still alive. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go back into the edge of town, go into the maze, entering Proving Grounds. Cool. We're going to leave camp. Stairs up. Yeah, let's go back to town. Hey, we win. Awesome. That's how you recover if you really badly botch the teleport and everybody ends up dead.
Any questions from chat? We're getting comfortable with this. It's not as bad as it looks at face value. It's once you roll your sleeves up and get into it and start learning some of the mechanics, it clicks pretty fast, I think.
Yeah, it's there's a definite learning curve, and it is something that honestly I had not fully appreciated until watching other people who had didn't have 30 plus years of wizardry knowledge kind of struggling with it. But once you get it, I put a little time into this, and this is not it is not, I don't think, the most difficult goal in this Big 20, honestly.
So Link 7 says, where do we warp down from again at the start? That would be the 8 east, 8 down warp. Let me pull this up. So from the starting square here,
I'm just gonna
the first warp down is
that's how you
Umal,
do it,
8
okay.
east,
I'm gonna
8
do some
down.
casual just some casual stuff here. Maybe
And it
resurrect
brings you
these
to
dead
the
characters.
door. Door!
That's not working. Do this. Okay,
Equipping the amulet. We're not going to do that. You can get multiple amulets, though. There's a way to do that.
Oh, that's okay. But will this actually work, I wonder? Let's find out. Okay. But I bet I now have no gold. Yep. Okay. So that's interesting. That's something we haven't actually tested prior to this.
Yeah, you just have to keep
Okay.
pulling gold each time you go to res somebody.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a side effect, I think, of the Game Genie code that was used for this. This is supposed to be based on the level of the character. It is not supposed to cost 999 billion gold, but it makes sense that it does based on my understanding of how the Game Genie code works. Essentially, what's going on with the code is there's a check to basically say, have you reached the experience or gold cap? And if you have, set whatever that value is to 9999999. And the Game Genie code is basically just bypassing that check and saying every single time, yes, you have reached the gold cap. Or, you have reached the cap, be it experience or gold. Okay. All right, so actually, the one I needed to Mage 1 has okay, that's actually what I wanted. I wanted Mage 1 to be cured. I wanted to very briefly show. Okay. Yeah, sure, fine. Whatever. That's good enough for what I want to demonstrate. So, Malor. Normally you go east, north, down. And this is again one of those things that's kind of obvious if you played the game. If you want to reverse this, what you need to do to get back to town, when you're at a 0, if you hit left, that will give you the reverse direction.
And it's always important to point out that the Mallor doesn't technically teleport you to that square. It moves you that many squares in direction.
Correct. Yep, it is. Yep, it is. It does teleport you. It is a party teleport. It does not teleport you to the square you're going to. It teleports you this number of squares from where you are now. So, and I can actually kind of demonstrate that here. So if I go, oops, do I lose that cast? I do not.
Yeah, FK for a minute.
Okay. So if I go, all right, let's do this. How do I want to approach this? Yeah, okay. So the 008, the 808 square, that puts you in front of a door, right? If you do that. So if I come over here, and I malore and I enter those same coordinates, I am very much not in front of a door. I am in a random hallway. And if I cast this spell, Do Mappic is your kind of quote unquote mapping spell. It tells you where you are in the dungeon, essentially. Why did it do that? Oh, is it because you. No, that's not it. Why does it think I'm 0 east, 5 north? That was very much not what I did. Huh. I wonder if that's. What? Oh, I wonder if. Okay. Lost IQ. Sure. Whatever. It's fine. All right. Let me try that again. So I want to make sure I did that right. Okay. So I am 80 0 north, 1 down. Okay. So if I'm a lore, that should take me to 16 0. Actually, didn't know this. I wonder if certain spots on floor 9. Oh, you know what? I wonder if that's outside of the. I wonder if that's outside of the confines of floor 9, and it's teleporting me back there. I wonder if that's what's going on. Okay. So let's try. Try this. All right. If I'm now 0 east, 8 north. Let's try that. That should put me right in the center. Nope, teleport me back to floor 1 again. Okay. All right. Well, that demonstration didn't go the way I wanted it to. Refill my. Excellent question in the chat. Coconut ED5 asking, what happens if you try to teleport directly to floor 10? Let's find out, shall we? You bounce back to where you were. Unless, let me try something else here. Let me try this. Will that allow me to teleport there, or will it bounce me back? Let's find out. No, you bounce back to where you were. Okay. That's a bit of a safeguard. That's helpful. And actually, I can show you something else in relation to this as well. I'm going to take the path directly to floor 10. Keep the chute down. Shoot. Here's an annoying thing, right? I want to know where I am on floor 10, right? Oops, doesn't work. So I think the intended way to try and map out floor 10 was this. You go down to floor 10 and malore up 1. Nope, that took me... Okay, so let's see where that takes me. No, it took me right back to 1 down. Okay. I don't know if that's actually. I don't know if that's a side effect of the ROM or not. I'm gonna guess no, because the teleport down. Because I think I'm like outside of floor 9. Give me a second here. I'm gonna check this. Doo-doo. Yeah, okay, that's what's going on. Yep. Okay. That's actually interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. Yeah, okay. I did not realize that. Huh. Cool. Yeah, so anything outside the if you will, outside the dungeon on floor 9, it will bounce you back to floor 1. Interesting. Did not know that.
Any last minute questions out there from Streamerland?
Okay, because I'm determined to show this. All right, so now I am, let's see. I am 0 east, 1 north, 1 down. So if I malure, say 4. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can see I'm now 4 east, 1 north, 9 down, because I malured 4 east, 8 down from where I was.
Hey Raymond.
There it is. Okay.
The Malor in battle, it brings you to a random location on an adjacent floor, I believe, technically. And for some reason, it brings you down instead of up, so you can, just get to floor 10 in unintended ways.
Yeah.
And you can get good luck, like I had, landing right next to Word. Now you can have bad luck, like EmptyEye had, and landing near the beginning.
Going right at the start of the floor. Yeah. All right, so 2 east.
And the map of floor 10, it can only bring you to a location that's technically inbounds, so like the white tiles on the image. The
Yep.
gray tiles are all rock, and it will not transport you to rock from there. You can get into rock other ways, which is bad, but
It's very bad.
very bad.
Well, I think in this version it just dumps you. Well, I say just. Uh, it does have the courtesy to dump your bodies back at the castle versus them just being lost forever, like in some other Wizardry versions.
Yeah, that's like the one fair thing about this game. That's the bone they throw you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think the problem, Bogle, is you have to identify where you are very quickly. Because if you catch an encounter or you go through a door, you're gonna break your autosave.
Yeah, and
In
it's
that
hard.
resetting from that point, you'd be down in floor 10.
Yeah, unless you're lucky enough that you literally teleport right outside Werdna's door or just inside it, I suppose. Um, you have to take some time to kind of figure out where you are on the floor, which is not always easy in itself. So
Kitty. Hey.
all right, any other last minute questions here?
I don't know. I guess for for me, this was actually, even for me, this was super helpful to just like see what's happening. Like I've watched a few people like play it, and obviously like we did the goal a little bit ourselves during testing, but it was good to just like see the different. I knew there was more than one like strat with team comp and stuff, so it was good to just like see it happen and actually know what the spells are doing other than them just being spell names, and that's it.
Just being incantations.
Yeah,
literally.
just click the button. Just click the button
Yeah.
and it does the thing, which in fairness, I don't know. I definitely do more than one speed run where it's just push the button. Like who cares how it works? Just push it.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Boy and his blob.
fair.
Yeah. 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 No,
Yeah, there you
I can read Japanese. Come on.
Yeah. Coming up with like stuff for tutorials, that's always something I struggle with for like big 20 stuff like this. Is like, okay, how much of it, how much do I want to do like just do this sequence and you should get there most of the time
Yep.
versus like why you want to do that sequence and what it all means,
Yeah,
That's
I
something
mean,
I struggle with. And
it's tough because everyone like learns that some people are visual, some people like reading, some people like I'm personally someone who's very much I'll just watch a video from the get-go of like a run versus there's a lot of people that would rather just like spend a couple hours and just play through the game to figure out what things are. So
Right.
it's never there's never a perfect answer, but
yeah. Yeah, and as you can see, that's something I struggle with and something I like because I like this game and I know Shard does as well. Like genuinely just playing through it casually. So I'm like, info dumping stuff that's not really relevant to the Big 20 in people's chats. And they're like, "Wait, what? Huh?" I'm like, "Oh no, forget it. Don't worry about
yeah,
it."
ignore that. Ignore that.
Yeah. The stuff about how hit point rolls work on level up and watching people save scum playing casually and how you don't want to do that was one of those. I confused some poor person yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
with that. I was like, don't worry about it. Doesn't apply to this goal. Doesn't. Cool. Forget
it's
I said
fair.
anything.
That's good to know. I mean, I'm never gonna forget it now.
Yeah.
The HP will come at some point.
Yep. It all averages out in the end.
Okay. Well,
All right.
I guess for now, I think this is hopefully helpful. I'm sure some people will catch it later on too. But I guess I don't know. EmptyEye Char, thanks for doing this. Thanks for volunteering, and I don't know anything else.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. I'd like to thank
And
you
thanks
for
for playing
listening.
that in the Big 20.
I mean,
Wait,
it wasn't.
Absolutely.
It wasn't us. It was all of you.
That's
It
true.
was me and the 25 people I got to vote for it.
I got voted in. Yeah, I'm very happy it's in. But yes, I'll shift into radio voice one more time. Thank you for having us. We've loved being here. Stay tuned for Bad Breaks, doing a Battle of Olympus tutorial. This is EmptyEye and ShesChardcore on WBNS Radio signing off.
Peace.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya. Stick around.